Some movies entertain us, some make us think, and then there are those that seem to have a crystal ball, predicting the future with eerie accuracy. From technological breakthroughs to real-world disasters, some films have foreshadowed major events long before they happened. Could it all be a coincidence, or did these filmmakers somehow know what was coming? Today, we're diving into some of the most shocking movies and TV shows that predicted the future, some decades in advance. Segment 1. The Simpsons, the king of predictions. Let's start with the undisputed champion of eerie predictions, The Simpsons. Over its more than 30-year run, this animated show has somehow managed to foresee some of the most surprising real-world events. Are the writers just really good at guessing, or is there something deeper at play? Predictions that came true. Donald Trump becomes president. In a 2000 episode titled Bart to the Future, Lisa refers to inheriting a budget crisis from President Trump. 16 years later, Trump was elected in 2016. Smartwatches. In a 1995 episode, Lisa's fiancé uses a watch to make phone calls, years before Apple and Samsung released smartwatches. Disney buys 20th Century Fox. In 1998, The Simpsons aired an episode showing a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Co. In 2019, Disney actually bought Fox. The COVID-19 pandemic? The 1993 episode Marge in Chains depicted an outbreak of a virus from Asia, eerily similar to how COVID-19 started. Autocorrect fails. In 1994, an episode showed a character struggling with a text correction system, long before autocorrect became a meme-worthy frustration. Is it just a coincidence, or do the writers of The Simpsons have some kind of time-traveling ability? Either way, their track record for predicting the future is unbelievable. Segment 2. Back to the Future. Part 2. A glimpse into the 21st century. Back to the Future Part 2, released in 1989, imagined what life would be like in 2015. While we may not have flying cars, the movie got a surprising number of things right. Predictions that came true. Hoverboards. While we don't have true hoverboards like in the movie, self-balancing scooters nicknamed hoverboards became wildly popular in 2015. Self-lacing shoes. Nike actually created a pair of self-lacing sneakers in 2016, inspired by the movie. Video calls and smart TVs. The film depicted video conferencing, which has become standard with Zoom, FaceTime, and Skype. Fingerprint payments. Back to the Future. 2 showed characters paying for items using biometric scanners, which is exactly how Apple Pay and Google Pay now work. Cubs win the World Series. One of the most shocking predictions was that the Chicago Cubs would win the World Series in 2015. While they missed by a year, they did win in 2016, breaking a 108-year drought. Back to the Future wasn't 100% accurate, but the sheer number of things it got right is downright eerie. Segment 3. Contagion, a movie that mirrored a real pandemic. In 2011, Contagion hit theaters, telling the chilling story of a deadly virus that spreads rapidly across the world. At the time, it seemed like just another Hollywood thriller, until the real-life COVID-19 pandemic unfolded years later. Predictions that came true. A global pandemic. The movie predicted the world shutting down due to a highly contagious virus, animal origin virus. In the film, the outbreak begins when a virus jumps from bats to pigs to humans, exactly like how scientists believe COVID-19 originated. Misinformation and panic. The film accurately showed the spread of misinformation, conspiracy theories, and people hoarding supplies, all of which happened in real life. Social distancing and quarantines. Just like during COVID-19, Contagion depicted mask mandates, lockdowns, and the race for a vaccine. It's scary how much Contagion got right. Was it just a well-researched film, or was it an eerie glimpse into the future? Segment 4. The Terminator, the Rise of AI. When The Terminator was released in 1984, it introduced audiences to the idea of artificial intelligence becoming self-aware and taking over the world. At the time, it seemed purely sci-fi, but today, AI is advancing at an alarming rate. Predictions that came true. AI that can learn and think. Today's AI systems like ChatGPT and DeepMind can analyze massive amounts of data and learn from it, much like Skynet in The Terminator. Automated drones in warfare. The military now uses autonomous drones that can make decisions without human intervention, eerily similar to the machines in the movie. Facial recognition and surveillance. The movie depicted an AI tracking people's faces, and today, governments and tech companies use facial recognition software worldwide. Are we heading toward a Terminator-style future? Let's just hope AI doesn't decide to turn against us. Segment 5. Minority Report. Predicting crimes before they happen. Steven Spielberg's 2002 film Minority Report imagined a world where crimes could be stopped before they even happen, thanks to advanced technology. And guess what? We're already heading in that direction. Predictions that came true. Predictive policing. Some cities now use AI and data analysis to predict where crimes are likely to happen, just like in the movie. Touchless screens. The film showed people using their hands to control giant holographic displays, similar to today's touchscreen and VR technology. Personalized advertising. In Minority Report, ads scan people's faces and target them with personalized messages, which is exactly what online algorithms do now. Science fiction or reality? The world of Minority Report is getting closer every day. Segment 6. The Running Man, 1987. Reality TV and government surveillance. In 1987, The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, imagined a dystopian future where criminals are forced to participate in a deadly reality TV show for the public's entertainment. At the time, it was pure fiction. But today, reality television and government surveillance have made some aspects of this movie seem eerily accurate. Predictions that came true. Rise of reality. TV, The Running Man, depicted a world obsessed with sensationalized reality TV, where contestants fight for survival. Just a few years later, reality shows like Survivor, Big Brother, and The Hunger Games style competitions became a global phenomenon. Government-controlled media. In the film, the government manipulates media and news to control public perception, something that has become a real concern with propaganda, fake news, and state-controlled media in some countries. Surveillance drones and facial recognition. The film showcased constant surveillance, a reality we now live in with AI-driven facial recognition and drones monitoring public spaces. While we may not have lethal game shows yet, the way entertainment and surveillance have evolved makes The Running Man feel closer to reality than ever before. Segment 7. 2001. A Space Odyssey, 1968. AI assistance and space travel. When 2001. A Space Odyssey premiered in 1968, its vision of the future seemed like pure science fiction. But over 50 years later, many of its predictions have come true, especially in the fields of artificial intelligence and space exploration. Predictions that came true. AI virtual assistants, HAL 9000, the film's advanced AI system, eerily resembles today's voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, which can perform tasks, answer questions, and even control smart homes. Video calls and voice-controlled tech. The film showed astronauts using video calls, much like Skype, Zoom, and FaceTime today. Commercial space travel. In 2001, space travel was privatized and commercialized, just like today with SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic making private space flights a reality. Suspicious AI behavior. HAL 9000's cold and calculating decision-making reflects modern AI concerns, where some fear AI could one day turn against its creators. It's amazing how much 2001 A Space Odyssey got right. What seemed like an impossible future in the 60s is now part of our daily lives. Segment 8. The Net, 1995. Cybersecurity and identity theft. In 1995, The Net starring Sandra Bullock explored the terrifying idea that a person's entire digital identity could be erased, making them a ghost in society. At the time, the internet was in its infancy, but today, cybercrime, data breaches, and identity theft have made this movie feel disturbingly real. Predictions that came true. Hacking and cybercrime. The film depicted hackers manipulating digital records, which has become a real-world issue with cybercriminals stealing identities, hacking banks, and even interfering with elections. Digital footprint and privacy loss. Sandra Bullock's character lives a completely digital life, making it easy for her identity to be erased. Today, with social media, banking apps, and cloud storage, our entire existence can be tracked online. Deepfakes and digital manipulation. The Net hinted at faking documents, erasing identities, and rewriting digital history, something that's now possible with deepfake technology and AI-generated media. In 1995, the idea of identity theft on a massive scale seemed far-fetched. But in today's digital world, the Net serves as a warning about how vulnerable we all are to cyber threats.